Is goal setting actually the problem, or is it something deeper? There is a good to have goals and there's also like a must have goal. So a good to have goal is like you want also can, you don't want also can, so that's like a good to have goal. But then a must have goal is you will do whatever it takes for you to actually achieve that goal.
For the longest time, right, this actually sets into my mind and I believe in myself that I can never become a trainer because I'm young. Corporate people are not going to listen to me. And this belief sit with me for a very, very long time. So when I set my goals, right, even though people are giving opportunity to me, like, Wiki, can you run training on this? I say, no, I don't want to do this. I just want to do what I'm comfortable with. So that's the power of belief, right?
Regardless of what goals that we set, the ultimate purpose is for us to become a better human being. It's for us to grow in a certain area.
Hi everyone, before we kick things off, just want to share with you that we are on a mission to reach out to more people so that they are able to turn their mess into message. And we can't do this without your help. So which is why, right, it will mean a lot to us if you can actually help us to like, subscribe, and even share this episode to people who can benefit from this. And this means a lot and it can help us to create more meaningful episodes like this. So thank you in advance and I'll see you in the episode.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Influence Show where influence meets breakthrough. Now, it's New Year and every time when New Year happens, our motivation is really high up. So what most of you would do is that you set New Year resolution, your motivation is high up, and then you tell yourself that this year is going to be your best year ever. But then the problem with many of you is that sometimes you lose momentum along the way. And then for a lot of you guys here as well, you actually lose motivation for you to achieve your goal. So that is why in this episode here today, we are going to dive deep into the psychology behind goal setting, why goal setting works and why some of the goal setting strategies that you are using actually don't work. And we will actually debunk the myth of goal setting. So together with me here today, we have Wicked, my partner, to actually speak about this topic over here. And Wicked, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show and Happy New Year.
All right. So my first question to you, Wicked, is that why do so many people start strong for the year and then eventually they give up so quickly?
Well, to me, right, I feel that, right, because when there's a dedicated time frame, for example, when there is a start of something, a new year, or for example, a new job or a new relationship. So normally during that starting of something, right, it's like, okay, we are starting afresh. So normally during the starting part, normally we are feeling much more energetic. However, as we go through the days, months, and quarters down the road, then we slowly lose that motivation. Why? It's because there is no more cut off. There's no more like a renew effect. Yeah, so that's my thinking. Not sure, what do you think?
Right. Yeah, so I totally agree with you as well because every time whenever we start strong, we want to have the mindset of having a new start of the year. But then along the way, that is where our old habit actually creeps in and that is where we actually fall off the track as well. Yeah, so my question to you is that, is goal setting actually the problem or is it something deeper?
Yeah, I think there's two sides of this question as well. So I think that yes, definitely maybe there is some challenge when it comes to goal setting. Yeah. So one of the things that I always share with our students is that sometimes people mistaken their mean goal for their end goal. Have you heard about this? Probably.
Yeah, maybe you can explain to that.
Yeah.
What's mean
So you see, right, what is a mean goal? Mean goal is like, it's a mean to reach an end. So for example, I wish to earn 1 million ringgit so that I can actually have good life with my family members. So you see, right, the 1 million is the mean goal. Like to have a good life, to actually have a lovely family, that's the end goal. But most people actually set a goal about the mean goal. And when you put a mean goal and then you are focusing so much on it, right, then sometimes you may lose that sense of purpose as well. Yeah, so I think that goal setting, right, when we say goal setting, right, are you setting the right goal? Is that really the end goal? Or is it just a mean to an end? We need to get that clear, I feel.
So mean goal meaning to say that it's just a process of you achieving something, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of time people say that I want to lose weight. So losing weight is a mean goal because at the end of the day, like, why do you actually want to lose weight? Is it because you wanted to look good, right? Yeah. So I think that's a key difference between setting a mean goal and also an end goal as well.
Yeah. And also the second thing, just now, one thing is the goal, right? The second thing you asked me just now, right? Is there a deeper thing that is behind? Actually, I think there is, right? Because I myself, I've been through certain journey. I think later we can share our stories as well. Sometimes, right, when we set a goals and then we are not achieving it, maybe there are certain block, and that block could be certain beliefs. Maybe that block could be certain unresolved baggage, right? So all these things, right, can also affect whether you're achieving your goal by the end of the year or not. Yeah. So I think that there's a two side of things.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about the mistakes that people normally make when they are setting goals before we even get into the goal setting mechanism itself, right? Yeah. So what do you think is actually the biggest mistake that people always make when it comes to goal setting?
Okay. First thing, I think that probably what people set is actually, again, the mean goal and an end goal. They're mistaken the mean goal as an end goal. And when I set a goal, why are you setting it? Is it really a goal that you want? Or is it because everybody else is actually setting this goal? That's why you also set it as well. Or everybody think that by this age, you should have a car, you should have a house. And then I think that according to the culture scape, maybe I should have one of these things as well. Yeah. So the danger of this, right, is that when you set your goals in such a way, and then you work really, really hard towards it, right? Then after that, when you achieve that, then you ask yourself, actually, I'm not happy. Why am I not happy? Then there's a sign that probably you are going after your mean goal. So I think that this is the number one mistake that I see people make, is that they mistaken the mean goal as the end goal, and they are just following. They don't really ask themselves why they want that goal. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think to add on to that, having purpose is actually very, very important because most of the time when we set goals, we are not clear like why we actually want that at the very first place, right? And then I always tell people that there are two types of goals. There is a good to have goals and there's also like a must have goal. So a good to have goal is like you want also can, you don't want also can. So that's like a good to have goal. But then a must have goal is you will do whatever it takes for you to actually achieve that goal. So that is basically a must have goal, right? So how do we actually know whether it's a good to have or a must have, right? So maybe I can do an experiment with you, okay, about one of the goals that you have, right? Okay, so tell me, what is one of the goals that you actually have for yourself?
One of the goals that I actually want to have, I want to travel to 2 countries this year.
Okay, great.
2 countries, yep.
Right, so you wanted to travel to 2 countries this year. Okay, great. So for me to know whether this goal is actually strong enough or not, then probably I will actually challenge you. Why 2 countries?
Why 2 countries, right? Is because, by the way, this year I'll become a father as well. My wife is currently, we are expecting. So one of the travel season is actually happens right after the delivery, like maybe 2-3 months like that, because maybe I expect first month it will be a bit chaotic. Then I just want to take my wife for just to relax a little bit. Another one is towards the end of the year. It's like really end the year strong, because my deepest value is actually love, and I feel happy when I see my wife enjoying herself and we are spending quality time.
So you need to have these 2 vacation.
Yep.
What about, let's just say, if just 1 vacation for the year?
One. I think I still need 2.
You still need 2?
Yeah.
Why not 1?
One, because if it's 1, right, then I have to wait very long. Then if I know that if I were to wait until year end, then what happened to all this? Then, yeah, I do not want to put my happiness on hold. So I set my goal is that the first half, 1, second half, another half.
So that's a very strong ones that you want to actually go for 2 vacations in a year.
Yeah.
All right. So you can see that from this experiment, and you can tell from his conviction that 2 is actually his must-have goal, right? And then if his goal is not strong, then if I were to ask him, right, is it okay if we go with 1? Then you will probably see that he actually start doubting himself, right? And I think that this happens when I was coaching my clients as well. And whenever they set goal, they tell me that, Shui, I want to actually lose 10 kg in a year, right? So then we'll ask them, like, why 10 kg? Is it okay if you lose like 7 kg instead of 10, right? And then they will tell me that actually 7 is also very, very good already, okay? So that is where we actually know that 7 is actually the bare minimum. Then I can ask him, like, continue to ask him, is it okay if you hit 5, right? And then the person say, actually 5 also not bad. Then you know that it's also a good to have. And then when I go even lower, can you go below 5? Then you can get a very firm no. So from there, then you will actually know that that goal is a must-have goal. So a lot of times when we set goal, we want a lot of different things, but then the problem is that we don't know why we actually want that.
That's right. So I think it's really important to really know your purpose, know your why, and really check with yourself, why do you actually do that? Yeah, because the danger of this also, right? Back to this, right? The danger of this is that maybe your end goal is that I want to have a better relationship with my wife, let's say. So the main goal is, okay, I want to go travel. Then after that, you do everything every day. You work really hard. Then you neglect your wife, neglect your family members because I want to go travel. Then you are losing the real meaning of that, because if you don't know the purpose of me going traveling is because I want to have a better relationship with my wife. To have better relationship with my wife, it's not just on the traveling period. It's also on what I do every single day, how I show up as well. Yeah. So I think that when we set a goal, we have to remind ourselves the why. So that's why this is so important.
Okay, that's good, right? So I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that people actually make. So what do you think is the second mistake that people actually make? And I have a question to this, right? So should people set goals that is big, or should people set goals that is achievable? Because I think this is also one of the mistakes that people make when it comes to setting goals.
Wow, you are the goal setting expert and you're asking me. Okay,
Yes.
I will do my best. To me, right, in the past, I would set really big goals. I think when I first started out in my entrepreneurship journey, I would set really big goals, so big that I have no idea how to achieve them, right? So one thing I realized is this, right? When we are setting goal, it has to be something that is purposeful, and it also has to be something that is somehow achievable. It's like it's in your radar. You have ways on how to achieve that, and then you can actually buffer it a little bit, like to push yourself a bit harder. So because there's this saying that goes, right, because aim for the moon, shoot for the moon, and then even if you fall, you land among the stars. For example, let's say you want to hit 1 million, right? Then after that, you know that 1 million, no problem. Then you try to push yourself a little bit more, maybe 1.2 million, right? So that would actually give you a bit of a push for you to move forward. Yeah, but if you say you know that 1 million is okay, but you set yourself 10 million, then it's gonna stress everybody out. It's gonna make you, for me, it makes you stressful as well. What do you think?
Yeah, so I think to add on to this, I totally agree with you on this. And I believe that a very good measurement, and I call this setting stretch goal rather than a big goal or a small goal. You got to set a goal that stretches you, right? So a good measurement is that whatever you think that you can actually achieve, you add on another 20 to 30% of it. Yeah, so that is basically a stretch goal, because when you stretch yourself, you add on another 20 to 30% towards that goal, then eventually you know that this goal requires certain effort. Now, at the same time, it is not impossible for you not to achieve it. So when you see that there's hope, then most people will continue to do whenever there's hope, right? And I think that the biggest reason why people actually stop pursuing after their goals is because they stop believing that they can actually achieve it.
Because they set too high, is it?
Yeah, because they set their goals too big, and then they never believe that they can even hit that at the very first place. Yeah, so as you progress through the months, then the motivation slowly dies down.
What about if they set it very easy?
I think setting easy goals, when you know that it's something that you're gonna hit this goal at 100%, probably it wouldn't motivate you that much. Right? And then when you know that you're gonna hit it no matter what, then probably you're just gonna do basically what you are going to do on a normal days for you to hit that goal, but then you don't stretch yourself hard enough, or you don't even push yourself out from your comfort zone, right? And then the reason why most people, they set goals, they achieve their goals, is because at the end of the day, regardless of what goals that we set, the ultimate purpose is for us to become a better human being. It's for us to grow in a certain area. So when you set goals that you know you could have already achieved it, then you are not challenging yourself to actually grow.
Interesting. Yeah, and it recalls me about a book that I've read recently about flow, which I think you have seen it as well. So I think that this book talks about how people can actually get into a flow state, a state where they're really productive, a state that they want to achieve more, right? Is based on how they set their goals, right? If let's say people are doing something that is too easy, right? That's when they are actually going into this thing that we call the boredom zone. When you're in boredom zone, right, you are not very productive. It's like, so easy. Imagine you're a speaker, then I ask you to stapler paper every single day. You're not in flow, you're not motivated. But then if you set yourself too high, right, you are on this zone that I call the zone of anxiety, the anxiety zone. It's like, oh my goodness, my capability doesn't match what I want to achieve. Then you're constantly in this anxious mode. Then you're not going to be productive. You're not going to be motivated as well. So the thin fine line is in between boredom and also anxiety, right? So that's when the goal that you set for yourself, the thing that you do, it should be a little bit challenging, something new, something that interests you, excites you, that you put you on your toes a little bit. But it shouldn't be something that stretch you, like melt you down, so that in that fine line, you will find your motivations to continue forward. Yeah. So I think that when you set goal, I think it's also very important to pay this in mind. Don't torture yourself. Don't, put things too easy for yourself. Find that thin line. Yeah.
Okay, that's great, right? Yeah, so I think we covered two biggest mistakes that people normally make. So is there a third pattern that you see in people when it comes to goal setting?
I think the third pattern that I saw, right, is that the period of reviewing. Yeah. So normally how people set goal, me too as well. Last time, at the starting of the year, I set once. Then the next time I review it is during the 31st December. Is when I'm doing the reflection with my wife. Then I realize, wow, I achieved so much. Wow, I didn't do this. I didn't do this. Yeah. So I think that the reviewing period is really, really important because one thing I realized, right, is that maybe the starting of the year you are hyped, you are energetic, you set a lot of goals, right? I'm not sure about you, right, but halfway through the journey, right, you realize that some goals actually needs to be changed, no longer relevant, or maybe you need to add new goals into that because things may happen. Yeah. So I'm just curious, how often do you review your goal?
I think I would say I go as often as on a weekly basis I actually review my goals, right? Because I always believe that the more you review it, the more you know whether you are aligned on track or whether you are off track. And like what Vicky actually mentioned, I love what you said is that most people, they review it once a year only to realize that I actually did not achieve that goal. But then you have just wasted basically an entire year for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, I think that I review it as frequent as almost weekly so that I know what I should be doing every single week so that I can actually adjust accordingly, right? So to me, I think that a good ratio or a good measurement for goal setting is where you set your goal for the entire year. And once you set it for the entire year, you learn how to break it down to monthly goal and even to weekly goal as well, so that on a weekly basis, you actually review those goals. And then chances are, if most of the week, if you don't actually hit those goals, then eventually it makes common sense that basically by the end of the year, you probably wouldn't actually achieve your yearly goal as well.
Yeah. So I just want to ask you, is it okay, let's say, to change your goals halfway through the year?
I think definitely is very, very okay to change your goal, right? Because I've met a lot of people whereby they set a very big goal at the start of the year. But then along the way, right, that goal no longer becomes relevant for them, right? But then because they have set that goal at the start of the year, they always feel that they have that obligation to actually fulfill and to complete those goals. So when they don't complete those goals, there is an inner misalignment because a part of them, they don't feel like achieving those goals because those goals are no longer relevant, but another part of them actually wants to fulfill that promise, achieving that new goal. So for me, I think a very good measurement is that on a quarterly basis, what I do is that I will actually review my goals and then I will ask myself, is this goal still relevant for me? And if the goal is relevant for me, I will continue to optimize it. But then if the goal is no longer relevant to me, then I will ask myself, do I actually continue to keep this goal, right? So sometimes like subtraction is way better than adding new goals or keeping goals that is no longer relevant.
That's nice. Yeah. So I think that goal setting is somehow like you're selling a ship, right? So maybe at the starting of the year, you sell that, okay, I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go, this is north, right? Then some people, they said, okay, I'm going to go north all the way. But you realize that, right, along the journey, you still need to turn, you still need to adjust the course of the ship. So I feel that halfway through the journey, if you feel that, hey, if it's no longer serving you, I feel that you need to also have the courage to let it go as well. Yeah, so I think that success doesn't come from you setting goal and then going all the way. Success also comes from, I see a lot of people who are really successful, it's like how they are very fluid in adjusting their goals based on what they need at that period of time. Yeah.
Okay, I really, really love that, right? And I'd like to touch on two things that actually affects goals, right? Because people set goals, but then most of the time they lose motivation halfway. So when this happens, right? So in NLP, we said that there are actually two things that stops people from achieving their goals. So the two things is basically values and also beliefs as well, right? So maybe I'll cover values and later I want to ask your opinion about belief, right? So basically what values actually mean, right, is the things that is important for you in life. Like I'm not sure, like what are your values in life?
Love.
Okay,
Growth.
so love, growth, what else?
Love, growth. Pretty much.
Okay,
That
yeah.
one I forgot.
So for me, I think I am someone that wants recognition a lot and also achievement, and relationship and love is also part of my values.
Really?
Yeah.
Not freedom.
Freedom is also part of it, right? Top
Okay.
5 values, right?
Alright.
Yeah, so I think the goal for values, right, is for you to understand why are all these goals important to you. Because at the end, right, you see that when we set all these goals, it's because we need to achieve a certain value inside us, and that's why we set goals. So for example, people say that, oh, I want to make money. Why do you want to make money? It's because I want to achieve freedom. So freedom is actually the word that they're actually looking for. Right? But then the problem with many people is that when they set goals, their values and their goals are actually not aligned. So that's why when they finally achieve their goals, even though they have achieved it, they felt really, really shitty and they felt like basically just that's it, right? So they don't feel aligned with their goals. So an example for this is that, let's just say if your top value is that you value certainty a lot. Everything that you do, you want risk-free, you want to be certain. But then if you set your goal to become an entrepreneur, you know that this person is going to have a lot of conflicts, right? And maybe for some people, their value is comfort, right? So when they chase after a comfortable life, comfort, then one of their goals is that they want to look for growth. Then we also call it a mismatch in value. So this person will have a lot of internal conflict because whatever they want, it doesn't match with the value that they have. So I think that the more important thing before we even talk about goal setting, right, we need to really understand what are the values that is important to us first. So once we understand that, then when we align our values to our goals, it becomes very, very powerful. Hey guys, just a moment. So if you have enjoyed our video so far and you have learned something from the video, you know that we are actually on a mission to inspire more lives and to spread our message to even more people out there. And we can't do this without your help. So we would really appreciate it if you haven't subscribed to our video yet or to our channel. So please click on the subscribe button below and to turn on your notification bell as well, so that every time we post a video, you will get the first-hand update to it. And we would really, really appreciate it. So with that being said, thank you in advance, and back to the video, right?
Good. So how do people can know about their values?
So I think it's about asking yourself, what are the top 5 things that you value in life, and you write this down, right? Whether it's love, whether it's achievement, whether it's family, whether it's recognition. So write down whatever things that you want in your life, and then if you can, so select the top 3 that you feel that is most related to you, that you feel most resonate to. So once you identify that 3, then eventually you will notice that whatever decisions that we do, we will always revolve around these 3 different values.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I think that is really important to know your values, because at a period of time when I didn't align my values, I would just feel like I'm doing this work, running in this business, like a rat running on the what is it called? The treadmill, right? Yeah. So once I align back about my values, I know my values is love, then know that, okay, the business that I create is because it's for love. The things that I do is for love. Then when I'm so aligned, then it no longer feels dreading. It no longer feels like, oh, why am I doing this? Because when you have these little voices, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this, right? Imagine every single day you wake up, right? You have to fight with this voice. Before you even start working on your goal, before you even start doing your things, right? You're already tired. You're already half dead because a lot of internal conflict. Yeah, so I think that thanks for bringing this up about aligning, about values.
All right. Yeah. So I think that value is one of the biggest things that stop most people from achieving their goals. And let's go into beliefs, right? So I think belief is also something that holds people back without them realizing it. Yeah. So what are your thoughts about belief system?
Wow, belief system, really, really impactful. So I want to give you an example, right? Long time ago, I actually had a mentor. Yeah, so one day I actually came up to my mentor and I said that I want to become a corporate trainer. And then this mentor, right, actually stopped for a while and then replied me and said that, wow, Wicked, becoming a corporate trainer is not easy, you know, because you're young, people are going to judge you and cannot one. I think you focus on something else, right? So for the longest time, right, then this actually sets into my mind and I believe in myself that I can never become a trainer because I'm young and because corporate people are not going to listen to me. And this belief sit with me for a very, very long time. So when I set my goals, right, even though people are giving opportunity to me, like, Wiki, can you run training on this? Wiki, can you run training on this, right? I said, no, I don't want to do this. I just want to do what I'm comfortable with. So that's the power of belief, right? So belief is like, how are you talking to yourself, right? So it could be actually happening from advice from people. It could actually happen from your family members. It can actually come from your culture. It can come from your experiences, good and bad experiences as well. And it develops certain beliefs, right? So some of the example of when it comes to beliefs, right, there's two types as well. First is like the empowering beliefs. Empowering beliefs, right, is like these beliefs are actually making you more empowered, makes you feel that you can actually achieve more, and it really serves you, makes you feel better, right? For example, empowering beliefs like I'm confident, I will be able to achieve what I want if I work hard. I just need more training in order to be better at something. So you see, these empowering beliefs, right, sounds like there's still something you can control on. Limiting beliefs, right, sounds a bit something like this. Partnership never works. I, as a young speaker, never be successful. People will always judge me. I'm not good enough. So you see, right, this limiting belief, when you hear it, right, it sounds like something that is set in stone, you can't control. And then basically you don't have to try new things already because cannot work, man. So I always believe these things, right? Whatever that you tell yourself, whether you think you can, whether you think you can't, they are both true. Because you are the one who are going to, make it realize. Yeah.
So I like what you said, the stories that we tell ourselves will always be true when we truly believe in it. But then you see, belief happens to us very subconsciously. Because sometimes like when we go through certain things, that is where a belief is formed. So when we are setting our goals, how can we be consciously aware that we are not being held back by all these limiting beliefs when we are actually putting our goals out there?
Oh, really good questions. So I think this also leads me to another common mistake people set their goals, right? Is that they set their goals silently, quietly, and by themselves. So they just set their goals and then they just put it aside and then done. And then wait for the year. So one of the things I realized for the past 2 years, right, is that I started to join accountability groups. I think you as well. So when we are in the accountability groups, right, we set goals together. And the beauty about this, right, is that after you set these goals, then your accountability group members will start challenging you about it. They will actually go like, why must you achieve this goal? Why not set higher? Why this and why that? So you see, when you have someone to challenge you, right, in a way, right, they will also be able to pick up what are some of the beliefs that you have. Is there something that is blocking you? Is there something that you subconsciously tell yourself that you cannot? So when all these are in your awareness, then you know, oh, okay, I'm actually having this block. Then you can start doing something about it. Right? So I think that this is really, really important. And that's why in our program as well, when we get the student to set goals, we also get our students in a group, accountability group, to challenge each other's goals. Yeah, if you can survive that challenge, then chances are these goals are really the must-have goals for you. So that's my thought.
Yeah, I think to add that up, challenging that goals doesn't mean that goal is not important for you. But then challenging that goals is to test whether whatever you said, is it aligned with your emotion or not?
Yeah.
Right? Because when you don't feel aligned, you can actually feel it that when whatever you said is not congruent and you can actually feel it yourself.
Yeah, it's like, okay la, I think can la. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Yeah, so now that you see, we talk about values, we talk about belief that actually holds people from setting goals, and we also talk about like the biggest mistake as well. So let's go into how do you actually set goals that actually work, right? Because you have seen a lot of high performers, how they set goals and how they actually review their goals as well. So if you were to provide a step-by-step system for people to actually set their goals, what do you think people should actually look out for?
So I think that I think you should actually answer this question, because I think that I also learned a lot about setting goals from Shui. So what I think, right, is that when we are setting goals, sometimes we tend to go very specific too early. Yeah, it's like we go straight like this year, how many percent we want to achieve, how much money we want to have, right? So when you are putting it like this, right, then you lose out you didn't actually go to a part like, why am I actually setting this goal? So I feel that for me, right, what I've learned when it comes to setting goals is to start from the bigger picture, right? Start from the bigger pictures. For example, like you said, purpose. What is my purpose? Write it down. What is your values? Write it down as well. And maybe can even be daring to think about 10 years horizon. Who are you as a person 10 years in your personal life, in your relationship, in your work, right? So just dare to dream, who are you 10 years later? And then now you can start to reverse engineer. What is the theme for this year? For example, maybe one of the theme, maybe what's your theme for this year?
So I think that my theme for this year is basically the year of soaring.
Soaring.
Right. So for me, I want to fly so high that I'm able to set the standard and also to be the leader in the industry.
Awesome. Right. My one is sustain. So sustain, meaning that when we are flying high, we want to be sustainable, that we are always in the air, always flying high as well. So that's my word, the theme of the year. So this, right, actually gives us clarity on how do you want to set our goals for this year as well. Is it relate to the theme or not? Right? Then only after that, then we go to the nitty gritty, like what needs to happen in different areas of your life. Yeah. So maybe Sri, you want to share like in your perspective as well, right? When you are setting goals, how do you decide the areas that you are setting and what are some of your process as well?
So for me, I think of course there will be a few main areas that we actually look at, right? And of course, like in our we call it a blueprint community, which is the accountability group that we are in. There are actually 9 pillars that we actually look at when we actually set goals. But then I don't think I'm going to go through that 9 pillars, right? But then I think a few pillars that you may want to look at is that number 1, I will set goal based on what I want to achieve for my business and also my career, because I think that this is ultimately what drives me forward. This is ultimately what puts food on the table. So business and career is something that I really I would set goals on. Secondly, I would set goal based on my health and fitness, right? Because I feel that as entrepreneurs, as we are fighting towards our goal, having energy for you to push through is extremely, extremely important. So I will set a goal based on my health. Thirdly, I will set my goal based on my relationship with people, and this means my relationship with my family, my partner, my spouse, and even my friends as well. So everything that's to do with people. So I will actually set a goal based on that, because I always believe that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your relationship that you have, right? So that would be the third thing that I will set goals on. The fourth one is basically my own personal growth, which is basically the knowledge that I have. How do I grow into a better person? What skills do I want to learn? So that would be the fourth area that I actually set a goals on, right? But then on top of that, right, last year and also this year, I had this realization that basically there is also one very important element that I tend to forget, which I actually added in for this year. And that element is basically the area of contribution. So a lot of times when we set goal, it's all about me, right? But then we don't really look at what are some of the things that we can actually contribute. So I think that ultimately what gives us fulfillment is not just about us growing ourselves, it's about having the ability to give back. And when you see yourself impacting others, so that is where you find that life is actually very, very meaningful. Yeah, so to sum it up, these are the 5 areas that I actually set goals on.
Very nice. Yeah. I really love what you mentioned, right? Because if you are just setting a single-handed goal, for example, like a single track, business all the way, career all the way, but then you neglected everything else, right? For example, your health starts to struggle, your relationship also not doing well as well. Then even when you achieve that, right, you will not be feeling happy. So my next question is to you, right, Shui? So you see, setting goals for business, for career, right, is rather straightforward, right? Maybe based on the number of money or based on the number of sales. That's pretty simple. But for other areas, for example, like relationships, for example, like health, then they're not that straightforward, right? So how do you actually set goals based on these areas that is not that quantifiable?
I think that everything can be measurable, right? Because one of the things when it comes to goal setting is that, so I love to use this concept called OKR to actually set goals, right? So OKR stands for objective and also your key result. So objective is basically what is the direction that you want to go. So for example, my objective for my health could be I want to have an extremely healthy body. I want to have 6-pack. So that is basically an objective that I'm heading to. So then you need to break your goals down into key result. So key result is what exactly you need to do for you to achieve those goals. And when it comes to key result, it needs to be specific. It also needs to be measurable as well. So for example, for health, right? So if I were to say that, oh, I want to look physically good, right? So that is basically my objective. And objective can be inspiring. But then the problem is that you don't quite know when you will get there because different people, they have different definition of looking physically good. Right, so to break it down into measurable result, so basically for my health, I wanted to achieve 14% body fat and also 34% muscle mass.
Whoosh.
So you can see that this is a very, very quantifiable and even measurable goals. And when I set that, then I know when I will get there or when I would not get there. So how do you measure? It's either you hit it or you don't. It's either a yes or a no, right? There's no in the middle. Right now, some of you might be wondering, what about relationship? Like, how do you actually quantify relationship? Okay, so again, I will go back to OKR. Let's just say for my intimate relationship, right? So my objective would be I want to be able to create a relationship that is trusting and also lasting as well, right? To get to know each other much better. So that would be the objective. How do I quantify it? Is that so? Number one, in a year, I want to have at least like you. 2 memorable trips with my partner. So this is actually very quantifiable. It's either a yes or a no.
One cannot.
One cannot. Need to be 2. Okay, minimum 2. Right? And I think the second thing, and this is something that's really, really interesting, is I started this with my partner. We call this love tank. Right? So a love tank is basically every month, right, we will actually find one day. Okay, so imagine you are my partner right now. Okay, so every month we will actually find one day where we actually sit together, and then I will ask my partner based on 0 to 10. 0 means that you don't feel my love at all, and 10 meaning to say that you feel extremely, extremely loved. How would you actually rate our love tank? Right? So my partner would tell me 5, all right? Or some months where I'm actually I'm doing pretty well on my relationship, then probably 8 or 9, right? Or some months when I'm busy with training, then probably I will get a 2 or 3. Okay. So but then the objective of this is that a lot of times when we think about love, right? We think about ourselves first. It's like, oh, I think I did enough for this person already, or I think I did my best already. But we did not really quantify it based on what the other person actually feel. So when we do this love tank, then I will ask my partner, how would you rate me? So whatever rating that I get, so the key to this is that you cannot give a single word of comment. You just absorb, you just listen, right? If it's a bad rating, you listen to those feedback, right? And then once that is done, then I will actually be giving my rating to my partner as well. So that is how we grow from this relationship, and how we make this relationship quantifiable and measurable is through love tank, through our own feedback, right? Yeah, so that is something that we have done. So my goal for a year is that I aim to get at least 7 times that I get the rating of 8 and above for my love tank. So that is basically a very measurable goal for me, right? And I think that tremendously changed how I view relationship, and especially if you and your partner can actually speak the same language, I think that your relationship will be very, very meaningful.
That's really powerful, you know. It's like, it seems like this can also apply to other relationships as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you can't measure it, for example, your relationship with your parents, your siblings, or even maybe your subordinates as well. Yeah, so I think that's how you can actually make sure that things is quantifiable and you get feedback on how you can actually improve on that.
Yeah, that's good, right? Yeah, so what about for you? Like, how do you quantify your own relationship?
Okay, one of the things I do is definitely love tank. I think that last time I used to set like how many meals together, how many trips together, how many night out together. Then I realized, right, when I look back at my sheet, right, I do have the quantity, but then somehow the quality is questionable. So you see, right, I could be actually hanging out with my loved ones, and then after that, I'm not being present. I'm actually checking my phone, or I could be actually be going back home for a dinner, and then I'm not being present as well. So I think that love tank is one of the ways as well. And I also think that how you achieve that love tank, right, is also the time that you actually spend as well. So I think that for relationship, one of the goal I actually set is actually a monthly date night. So a monthly date night, basically, it could be our dinner, it could be a weekend that we go out, right? So date night doesn't mean that, oh, I have to spend a lot of money, I have to, bring her to really fancy places. It could be just a very occasional dinner. And then after that, you just actually have heart-to-heart conversation as well. Yeah, I think that really improved my love tank. Yeah, so I think that you need to allocate time, because if you don't allocate what's important in your calendar, someone else or something else will snatch that slot from your calendar. Yeah. So one of the things that I always do, right, is that since I know that relationship is something that I want, at the starting of the month, before the start of the month, I will actually have this conversation with my wife. When are we having our date night? So we block all of the date nights first. Then only we start accepting bookings from speaking, from Shuyi, from everything else, right? Because if you always put, for example, let's say people always put relationship as the last, right? Then it will never happen. So if this is something important to you, you need to allocate time for it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that as well. To add on to what Vicky actually mentioned, right? So when you set goals based on something that is quantifiable, you also need to know at the end of the day, what do you actually want, right? So the ultimate reason why you set goal, for example, love tank, date nights, right, is for the other person to feel love and for you to improve on your relationship, right? So at the end of the day, yes, we can chase for numbers, yes, we can chase for metrics, but I always feel that the quality of what you do is way important compared to just the quantity of it.
Yeah, so you need to have both, basically.
Yes, correct, right? Okay, so now that we have actually talked about some of the do and don'ts for goal settings, right? So I also want to ask you, you have been doing goal setting for quite a long time, right? So since you started off, you have been setting goals all the way until right now, right? So what is your biggest lesson that you have learned in this journey of goal setting?
I think this one hits actually quite close to my heart. Let's talk about business. So when I first started out in my entrepreneurship journey, right, I attended some of the classes, and then those classes actually asked me to set big goals about my business and everything. Just set goals, right? So I set goals, and then one mistake that I've made, right, is that when I set those big goals, I am fixated towards the goal. It's like it's like this is set in stone already. I'm not supposed to change. I'm gonna stay true to my goal. Then along the journey, right, I realized, right, things really does change. Yeah, and when things change, right, you have to have the flexibility to adapt to those changes. Yeah. So one of the things that I actually set for myself last time is that I set goals that I only want to serve a certain market. For example, I only want to serve the teenagers market, right? Then there are a lot of people coming from corporate, coming from adults, asking me. Then I said, no. I just want to stick it through. Then one thing that I realized is that, right, sometimes your goal needs to be adjusted. Because imagine you're 21 years old, you are setting your goal for 31 years old. It just doesn't make sense. Things will change. So set goals. Yes, you still need to have a direction. So roughly what that is. Okay, is on education. It's something that I want to impact people. And I think that's good enough to give you a certain direction. Then after that, keep on review, be agile about it, review, and then keep on adjusting along the journey as well.
Right.
What about you?
Yeah, so I really love that. And I think that whatever you said is really, really true, because whatever we set at the start of the year probably is going to be very, very different at the end, right? Because shits happen, things happen, and then we never know what will actually happen, right? So for me, it's always knowing what's your ultimate direction, and then just like a plane, whenever the plane sets a destination, right, it will move forward. But of course, there will be storms, there will be things that happens, and it will move off course as well. But then eventually, when you lock eyes towards your goal, so that is where ultimately you will still reach your destination anyway. Yeah, so for me, I always think that what Vicky said, expect changes and be okay with changes every time you actually set your goal. I think that's really, really important. To talk about one of my biggest lessons that I have learned in goal setting is that, so when you set your goals, right, you don't rise to the level of your goals, but you fall to the level of your system. So what this means is that, yes, we can set goals every single day. We can set all kinds of goals, right? But one thing that I realized is that goal setting is not just about setting goals. It's about putting the right system in place. And these systems are made out of the habits that you actually need to do every single day. whether it's waking up, whether it's doing cold plunges, whether it is putting yourself in your work seat, right, at 6 a.m. every single day to go through the motion, I think that the system that you set in place is the most fundamental and the most important thing. Because setting goals could be very exciting at the start of the year, but it is the boring system that would help you to reach the exciting goals that you have actually set for yourself. Yeah, so I think that is one of the biggest lessons I've learned. And then, of course, it's about how do you make this entire journey sustainable and you enjoy the process along the way.
That's great. Yeah. And by the way, just a thought that came out. Maybe I think that if the listeners who wants to know how we set goals, right? Maybe we can actually attach a file on our goal setting sheet on how we actually set goals, that a system that we can actually follow. Do you think that?
Yeah, definitely. I think that works. Like we could actually attach it somewhere so that for those of you who are setting goals, you can actually refer to that. And this is a system that we have actually used for the past 1 to 2 years, and it has been doing us magic as well. So I think that's something that you guys can actually benefit from as well. Okay.
Awesome.
Right, so as we come to an end of this session here today, so if there's this one thing that you can share for everyone before they even go into setting goals for themselves, what would that one thing be for them?
Okay. So I think that before you go for setting the goals and also when you're starting the new year, is to really understand your values, right? Understand your values. There are certain websites where you can actually find your values, but at least start somewhere. Why? Because these values is like your compass, right? It gives you the directions on where you want to go and why do you want to achieve certain goals. So once you found that value, like what Sri mentioned, when you set your goals, right, your goals are congruent towards you. Congruent means that it's fully aligned externally and also internally. You no longer have this self-doubt like, can I do it or can I not do it? Right? Or even maybe find a group of people whom you trust or your loved ones. Let's set goals together and let's make this a fun ritual together. And you realize that, hey, achieving goals doesn't have to be suffering, doesn't have to be boring. It can also be fun. It can also be peaceful as well. How about you?
All right. So I think for me, to sum it up, 3 words: less is more. So what this means is that when you set a goal, okay, don't add new goals in because it is exciting, but then focus on the things that is already working, and you know that the things is important for you. So focus on these important things, because you could have maybe 1 to 2 goals on your list, but then it's way more powerful than having 10 goals that is not important to you.
True.
Yeah, so just understand that less is more and focus on the most important goals that you want to achieve. So with that being said, I hope that you guys are learning something from this session itself. And for those of you who are watching as well, in 2026, we actually wish you all the best to your goals, and also all the best for you to achieve everything that you have set for.
Yes. Happy New Year, and let's grow in this journey together.
All right. Okay, so if you have enjoyed this session and if you would love to have more sessions like this, so in 2026, we actually have big plans moving forward for our podcast, where we want to bring in more topic, more guests, and also even more knowledge so that you guys are able to learn even more from us. So with that, if you guys do not want to miss anything out, we would really appreciate it if you guys could actually click the subscribe button and share this to someone who actually needs to hear it, so that more and more people can discover about this. So with that, we really thank you for this little effort, and it means a lot to us. Right? So with that, thank you so much, everyone, and looking forward to actually meet all of you guys here again very, very soon. Thank you so much.
Take care.